Hey guys, do you consider yourself a wage slave when it comes to your employment or your job? Let me know in the comments below if you do. And yeah, let's talk about that. Now, in a couple videos, I've had a few viewers mention the term or the phrase wage slave when it comes to continuing my employment or anyone's employment for that matter. And I thought to myself, man, that's kind of a harsh phrase when it comes to people's employment. Now, a lot of people enjoy their employment, whether or not they're lower class, upper class, middle class, and some people work for 30, 40 years and they enjoy it. It gives them fulfillment, and I hope that you guys can go out there and find a job that gives you fulfillment that doesn't make you feel like you're a wage slave, whatever that may be. Different people like different types of jobs. And so for people to comment, whether it's on social media or YouTube or whatever, that all you are is a wage slave, I think is a harsh take. Now, I don't think that the viewers who said wage slave meant any harm. I think that they were just using that term as, do you want to keep working for the man? And which is true at the end of the day, you know, do I really want to keep working for the rest of my life? I don't know. It's up in the air. The thing is about my kind of job is I don't consider it wage slavery by any means, okay? White collar work is a piece of cake. It's a nothing burger. It is nowhere near the feeling or stress of wage slavery, whatever that may mean. Now, there is a meaning to it. There is an official dictionary result from that, and I can read it for you. It's someone who is dependent upon wages to make a living, often with little or no opportunity for advancement, okay? So I think we should be careful on who we claim is doing wage slavery, all right? It's kind of a disservice or maybe an insult to everyone else who's in that position according to that definition, who may not have the skills to move up in a company or at their job, or who may not be able to make a lateral move from job to job because they might be living paycheck to paycheck. And so I think that we need to be careful with our words, and I've had this in a previous video, I've said this, be careful with your words. They are important, okay? And we use these phrases way too often, haphazardly, as a way of being maybe exaggerating the point you want to make. I get that. You want to say to a white collar worker, hey, don't be a wage slave for the rest of your life. That may be true, you know, I get the point. Retiring early would be nice to be able to spend more time with family and friends and all that. But to be honest, I don't consider my job a wage slave. I never have. I have never felt that before in my life. And I'm very fortunate, if not spoiled. Even when I worked minimum wage jobs, I worked as a busboy when I was 14 years old, then a dishwasher, then a cashier, and a stock boy, and all that stuff. I did all that stuff back in my early teens. And even then, I never considered that a wage slave type of labor because I could always leave and go home back to mommy and daddy. It was just a teenage job I wanted to have. But I could see how if you were dependent on that income and had no room to go, I could see how that's totally valid. I do not consider myself a wage slave, and these white collar jobs, they're a piece of cake. They really are. They're nothing burger compared to working a manual blue collar type of job, you know, low income. These white collar jobs are easy. So, you know, for us to be complaining out here and to have these first world problems where we're considering retiring early or keeping on working, it's really like not even a big deal, honestly. Like, it's kind of a silly question when you think about it, because at the end of the day, these jobs are still pretty nice. And so you got to be appreciative of even having a job these days. You look at what AI is doing and what the economy is doing these days. I'm not going to say that it's doom and gloom, but there are a lot of people losing jobs. So be appreciative of your job. I mean, if you think your job is wage slavery, maybe think again about it, or go get a new job. If you have the ability to move laterally or up, whether you have the skills or not to do so, try doing that, you know, improve yourself day over day, week over week. Try to get better and try to find a job that's not wage slavery if you think it is. Okay, I think you can do it. You know, you're on this channel for a reason. You're trying to do better in your life. It's a wealthy life. You want to make it wealthy. So keep working hard at it. I think you'll get there. People who don't have opportunities to leave their job and are working paycheck to paycheck, they're dealing with an income that's at their basic survival rate, their BSR, okay? That's an acronym I heard from another YouTuber that just retired. He stopped YouTubing, but I think that's an important thing to understand. What is your basic survival rate? And does your income go above that basic survival rate? Maybe your BSR is like somewhere around $40,000, or maybe it's $50,000. This is your home, your electricity, your utilities, cell phone, whatever it is that you need to live on planet Earth. If you can generate income above that BSR, you're beyond the wage slave status, in my opinion. So if your BSR is $40,000 to live, and you're making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, you're doing well. You're beyond that point of where you would think of yourself as a wage slave, okay? You have the opportunity to move on. You have the opportunity to invest, like I have over the last 20, 30 years. I've always had income more than my basic survival rate. And that's how you succeed in this world, if you have income beyond that basic survival rate, okay? So let's be careful on the terms we use when it comes to the comments. Now, I'm not saying you can't. It's a free country. Do what you want. But I feel like it's an insult to people who are struggling at those levels. Okay, so maybe next time say, well, why trade your time for money? I think that's more appropriate. Do I want to trade my time for money for the rest of my life? And I'm going to do some future videos on those topics because I'm actually really considering, hey, maybe I have been working too much. You know, maybe I have been trading my time too much. We'll see. But I got to make the moves to make it all a reality. That's what everyone else has to do. You got to make a couple moves in your life to where you can become successful and feel positive about your future. So these are hard decisions for people in your 40s and 50s. How long do you really want to work? And I'm kind of realizing that with my channel is most of the people who are watching this channel are between 35 and 55, and they're struggling with this challenge of, do I really want to work for the rest of my life? You know, how long do I want to work? But for the most part, most of us are very fortunate to where we are. And we're probably not wage slaves at the end of the day. People watching this content, this channel, It's a Wealthy Life, you're trying hard, you're building your skills, you're trying to get that better job. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think. Is this phrase too harsh for people to use, or is it all good to use it? So let me know in the comments, and if you guys could, like and subscribe if you do like the content, and take a look at my previous video. Thanks, guys. Bye.